Ambassador Gill, tell us more about the UN's concerns about AI, so much so that the Secretary General formed this AI advisory body.
Yes, so it's concerns, but it's also an assessment and appreciation of the opportunity that artificial intelligence and related technologies offer. Concern about human rights violations, discrimination, biases that get amplified, misinformation, disinformation that could undermine legitimate political processes. Concerns also about misuse for development of biological, chemical weapons, for new kinds of cyber weapons. And so those are all on the negative side of the ledger. And then there are challenges given the pace of the technology, the opacity, the opaqueness of some of these systems that government officials, regulators have not yet fully grasped. So what's the technology really like? What are its capabilities? There's a lack of understanding. So for all those reasons, the UN Secretary General has made this a priority.
How do you build consensus, especially when it comes to governance among all of these member states, when there are so many other initiatives out there right now and everyone's trying to figure out how do we address AI?
And those initiatives are all welcome, but I think a critical difference between these initiatives and the UN's work is the UN is a universal forum. Each and every country, small or big, rich or poor, is represented at the UN. UN also has a legitimacy, has credibility in terms of convening different actors, including civil society and the private sector, to talk about technology and its impact. I think the thinking that the SG has, the Secretary General has, is that all these valuable initiatives, we need to knit them together so that they work across borders. This is essentially a global problem like climate change is. And also we anchor these initiatives in some shared values for humanity, some shared principles.
We know that China is fairly advanced technologically and has made some big headway in artificial intelligence and has already started to regulate generative AI. There are some representatives on this advisory board. So talk to us about what countries like China can bring to the table.
China has an extremely important role to play in this area. There are 2 Chinese experts on this advisory body. They have distinguished themselves in work inside China on the management, the regulation of AI, but also internationally on the ethics of AI, on the governance of AI. China, as a developing country, has leveraged digital technologies in a very impressive way. So there's a lot that the rest of the global south can learn from China. On AI, the amount of research output coming out of China, the number of published papers, the talent that China has on AI is unparalleled. It's next only to the US, perhaps, where there is a kind of a longer history of developments around AI. So China, I would say, is an indispensable actor on discussions on AI governance.
You mentioned the Sustainable Development Goals. How can AI and other technologies help accelerate the progress toward those SDGs as we're coming up on 2030 in just less than 7 years?
Yes, so that's really exciting about the latest generation of AI models, data and AI systems. They have the potential to accelerate innovation, scientific discovery in fundamental ways. For instance, agriculture and food security, or health, or environment, or the circular economy. So it's not a question of adding 1 or 2 percentage points to growth, which will happen, but it's a question of fundamental transformation of the innovation ecosystems, how you bring expertise together across disciplines and come out with new breakthroughs. So that's one of the potentials for the SDGs. The other one is bridging the last mile gap. Many things like health delivery, public health services, or the training of farmers, the agriculture extension issue are constrained by the amount of experts, the number of experts you have, and the need for those experts to kind of meet with farmers or health workers or patients one-to-one. So AI can bridge that last mile gap and make expertise available in the local language, in the local context to large numbers of people.
And that being said, progress when it comes to inequality as well, because you have so many other countries around the world where getting internet is still a challenge.
Yes, absolutely. So this is one concern that we have at the UN, that on top of the existing digital divide, there may be new divides around data and AI, around innovation. So we have to now work harder to make sure that the human resource is nurtured in the global south in particular, that we have local digital economies that flourish.
And as we speak, you're working on a report that will hope shed some light on everything that is happening. Tell us a little bit more about that report and the big forum summit that you hope to have in 2024.
So this advisory body has been tasked to come out with an interim report with recommendations to the international community on models for international governance of AI. So how do we get this right, and can we learn from existing models of technology governance? This report would also feed into preparations for the Summit of the Future next year, where a global digital compact is to be adopted. If 193 member states of the UN are going to come together at the leaders level for this summit, there's a unique opportunity to take some decisions and to embed the thinking of the advisory body, the recommendation of the advisory body into those decisions, so that the international community can place its response on a more sustainable basis for the years to come.
Ambassador Amandeep Singh Gill, thank you for joining us.